Welcome to the Ultimate SC-100 Exam Masterclass. Are you ready to crack the SC-100 exam in one go? You're in the right place. In this session, we'll arm you with powerful insights and hand-picked questions that can make all the difference in your exam performance. We've scanned the web using intelligent crawlers to gather the most critical and high-impact questions, all compiled into one powerful PDF resource. You can download it from the link in the description. Not only will we explore these must-practice questions, but we'll also share real exam experiences and pro tips to give you that competitive edge. Let's dive into the key questions that could shape your success. Question 1. Your company has a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription. The Chief Compliance Officer plans to enhance privacy management. You need to recommend a solution that meets the following requirements. Identify and use personal data and empower users to make smart data handling decisions. Provide users with notifications and guidance when a user sends personal data in Microsoft Teams. Provide users with recommendations to mitigate privacy risks. What should you include in the recommendation? A. Communication compliance and insider risk management. B. Microsoft Viva Insights. C. Privacy risk management in Microsoft Priva. D. Advanced e-discovery. Correct answer, C. Privacy risk management in Microsoft Priva. Explanation. Microsoft Priva helps identify personal data risks and provides actionable insights. It offers policy-based controls for Microsoft Teams and other services. Question 2. You have an Azure subscription that has Microsoft Defender for Cloud enabled. Suspicious authentication activity alerts appear in the Workload Protections dashboard. You need to evaluate and remediate the alerts using workflow automation with minimal development effort. What should you include in the recommendation? A. Azure Monitor Webhooks. B. Azure Event Hubs. C. Azure Functions Apps. D. Azure Logic Apps. Correct answer D. Azure Logic Apps. Explanation. Azure Logic Apps offers low-code automation and can integrate with Defender for Cloud alerts. It minimizes development effort by using built-in connectors. Question 3. Your company is moving a big data solution to Azure and plans to use Azure Storage Blob Containers, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, Azure Storage File Shares, Azure Disk Storage. Which two storage workloads support authentication using Azure AD? A. Azure Storage File Shares. B. Azure Disk Storage. C. Azure Storage Blob Containers. D. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Correct answer, C and D. Azure Storage Blob Containers. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Explanation. Azure Storage Blob Containers and Data Lake Gen 2 support Azure AD for identity-based access. File shares and disk storage require different authentication models. Question 4. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription and an Azure subscription. You need to recommend a Microsoft Sentinel solution that includes custom views and a dashboard for analyzing security events. What should you recommend using in Microsoft Sentinel? A. Notebooks. B. Playbooks. C. Workbooks. D. Threat intelligence. Correct answer, C. Workbooks. Explanation. Workbooks in Sentinel offer rich visualization and interactive dashboards. They allow custom queries and layouts for analyzing data efficiently. Question 5. Your company uses Microsoft Defender for identity. You need to recommend a solution that exposes decoy accounts to attackers, triggering alerts when exploited. Which Defender for Identity feature should you include? A. Sensitivity labels. B. Custom user tags. C. Standalone sensors. D. Honey token entity tags. Correct answer D. Honey token entity tags. Explanation: Honey token entity tags help identify attacker behavior by monitoring fake accounts. Alerts are triggered when such accounts are accessed. Question 6. Your company is migrating all on-premises workloads to Azure and Microsoft 365. You need to design a SOAR strategy in Microsoft Sentinel that minimizes manual intervention and supports triaging alerts in teams. What should you include in the strategy? A. KQL. B. Playbooks. C. Data connectors. D. Workbooks. Correct answer B. Playbooks. Explanation: Playbooks automate response actions in Sentinel and can integrate with teams. They reduce the manual burden on SOC analysts. Question 7. You have an Azure subscription that uses Azure Backup. You need to protect backed up resources against ransomware attacks. Which two controls should be enabled? A. Enable soft delete for backups. B. Require pins for critical operations. C. Encrypt backups with CMKs. D. Perform offline backups to Azure Data Box. E. Use Azure Monitor notifications. Correct answer A and B. Enable soft delete for backups. Require pins for critical operations. Explanation: Soft delete and pin protection prevent attackers from deleting backups. These are key defenses against ransomware. Question 8. Your company uses both Splunk and Microsoft Sentinel. You need to send security events from Sentinel to Splunk. What should you include in the recommendation? A. A Microsoft Sentinel data connector. B. Azure Event Hubs. C. A Microsoft Sentinel workbook. D. Azure Data Factory. Correct answer B. Azure Event Hubs. Explanation: Azure Event Hub serves as a bridge between Sentinel and external CM tools. It supports streaming logs in near real time. Question 9. A customer using the Zero Trust model discovers malware on multiple endpoints. After removing the malware, what conditions must be met before users regain access to corporate apps? A. Client access tokens are refreshed. B. Microsoft Intune reports compliance. C. A new conditional access policy is enforced. D. Defender for Endpoint reports compliance. Correct answer A and B. Client access tokens are refreshed. Microsoft Intune reports compliance. Explanation: Access tokens must be refreshed to apply new access rules. Device compliance must be confirmed via Intune. Question 10. A customer has Microsoft 365 with Azure AD free. They want to use an Azure subscription. What feature requires an upgrade to Azure AD Premium? A. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management (PIM). B. Role-based authorization. C. Resource-based authorization. D. Azure AD Multi-Factor Authentication. Correct answer A. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management (PIM). Explanation: PIM is a premium feature that provides just-in-time access and role elevation. It is not available in the free tier. Question 11. You are designing the security standards for a new Azure environment. You need to design a privileged identity strategy based on the Zero Trust model. Which framework should you follow to create the design? A. Microsoft Security Development Lifecycle (SDL). B. Enhanced Security Admin Environment (ESAE). C. Rapid Modernization Plan (RAMP). D. Microsoft Operational Security Assurance (OSA). Correct answer C. Rapid Modernization Plan (RAMP). Explanation: RAMP provides a Zero Trust-aligned modernization framework. It focuses on access, identity, and privilege controls. Question 12. A customer has a hybrid cloud with Microsoft 365 E5 and Azure subscriptions. On-prem servers cannot connect directly to the internet. You need to recommend solutions so security and IT ops teams can access appropriate logs. Which two solutions should you include? A. A custom collector using the Log Analytics agent. B. The Azure Monitor agent. C. Resource-based role-based access control (RBC). D. Azure AD conditional access policies. Correct answer, B and C. The Azure Monitor agent. Resource-based role-based access control (RBC). Explanation: Azure Monitor agent supports indirect log collection. RBC ensures each team accesses only the logs they need. Question 13. Your company is applying the Zero Trust Rapid Modernization Plan, RAMP. Which three areas should you prioritize? A. Data, compliance, and governance. B. Infrastructure and development. C. User access and productivity. D. Operational technology, OT and IoT. E. Modern security operations. Correct answer A, C, and E. Data, compliance, and governance. User access and productivity. Modern security operations. Explanation: RAMP emphasizes data protection, user access, and security operations. These are key to a zero trust foundation. Question 14. You are designing a security architecture for Azure API management. What is the best practice for implementing service accounts based on the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark? A. Application registrations in Azure AD. B. Managed identities in Azure. C. Azure Service Principals with usernames and passwords. D. Device registrations in Azure AD. E. Azure Service Principals with certificate credentials. Correct answer B. Managed identities in Azure. Explanation: Managed identities are secure and reduce credential management. They integrate seamlessly with Azure services. Question 15. Your Windows endpoints are hybrid joined to Azure AD. To reduce ransomware risks, you plan to remove domain admin accounts. What solution provides just-in-time admin access with minimal lateral movement risk? A. Local Administrator Password Solution, LAPS. B. Azure AD Identity Protection. C. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management, PIM. D. Privileged Access Workstations, PAWS. Correct answer A. Local Administrator Password Solution, LAPS. Explanation: LAPS provides unique, regularly rotating local admin passwords. This reduces lateral movement and credential theft. Question 16. You have legacy OT and IoT devices. To apply zero trust principles without disrupting business, which two security practices should you include? A. Active scanning. B. Threat monitoring. C. Software patching. D. Passive traffic monitoring. Correct answer B and D. Threat monitoring. Passive traffic monitoring. Explanation: Threat monitoring and passive monitoring minimize risk. Active scans or sudden patching can disrupt fragile devices. Question 17. You're designing a zero trust strategy for your Microsoft 365 tenant. Which two security controls should be included? A. Always allow connections from the on-premises network. B. Disable passwordless sign-in for sensitive accounts. C. Block sign-in attempts from unknown locations. D. Block sign-in attempts from non-compliant devices. Correct answer C and D. Block sign-in attempts from unknown locations. Block sign-in attempts from non-compliant devices. Explanation: Blocking risky locations and non-compliant devices enforces zero trust. Access is based on trust signals, not location alone. Question 18. You need to protect against ransomware encrypting local user files. What should you recommend? A. Windows Defender Device Guard. B. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. C. Azure Files. D. BitLocker Drive Encryption. E. Protected Folders. Correct answer E. Protected Folders. Explanation. Protected folders in Defender prevent unauthorized apps from modifying key data. It's a direct defense against ransomware. Question 19. You have an AKS cluster with Linux nodes. You need to ensure nodes receive the latest kernel updates with minimal effort. What should you recommend? A. The nodes must restart after the updates are applied. B. The updates must first be applied to the image used to provision the nodes. C. The AKS cluster version must be upgraded. Correct answer B. The updates must first be applied to the image used to provision the nodes. Explanation. AKS uses node images, so updates must be baked into new images. This approach ensures consistent deployments. Question 20. You're designing a security operations strategy based on zero trust. You want to reduce Tier 1 SOC analyst workload. What should you do? A. Enable built-in compliance policies in Azure Policy. B. Enable self-healing in Microsoft 365 Defender. C. Automate data classification. D. Create hunting queries in Microsoft 365 Defender. Correct answer B. Enable self-healing in Microsoft 365 Defender. Explanation. Self-healing features in Defender can auto-remediate issues. This reduces alert fatigue and manual triage work. Question 21. You plan to deploy enterprise-scale landing zones using the Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework. The architecture includes a shared services platform and 3 application zones. What should you deploy to each landing zone per best practice recommendations? A. An Azure Firewall. B. An Azure Virtual Network Gateway. C. An Azure Private DNS Zone. D. An Azure Key Vault. Correct answer D. An Azure Key Vault. Explanation. Key Vault is recommended per landing zone to securely store secrets, keys, and certificates. It supports secure resource access isolation. Question 22. You manage 10 Azure subscriptions with 100 RBC role assignments. You want to identify unused roles over the past 90 days to consolidate them. What should you recommend? A. Microsoft Defender for Cloud. B. Microsoft Entra Access Reviews. C. Microsoft Entra Privileged Identity Management, PIM. D. Microsoft Entra Permissions Management. Correct answer B. Microsoft Entra Access Reviews. Explanation. Access reviews help determine role usage and allow remediation. They provide insights into least used roles for cleanup. Question 23. You're evaluating Azure for compliance. You want to assess compliance using Azure Policy without changing any resources. Which Azure Policy effect should you use? A. Deny. B. Modify. C. Append. D. Disabled. Correct answer D. Disabled. Explanation. The disabled effect prevents policy enforcement. It's used for evaluation and testing without affecting resources. Question 24. Your company has enhanced Microsoft Defender for Cloud and signs a U.S. government contract. You need to check for NIST 800-53 compliance. What should you do first? A. From Azure Policy, assign a built-in initiative with subscription scope. B. Configure the Microsoft Defender for Cloud connector in Microsoft Sentinel. C. Review the Azure Security Baseline in Defender for Cloud. D. Create a cloud access policy in Defender for cloud apps. Correct answer A. From Azure Policy, assign a built-in initiative with subscription scope. Explanation. Assigning the NIST 800 to 53 built-in initiative enables compliance tracking. It provides control mapping and compliance scores. Question 25. You want to extend Azure Security to your AWS resources but not use Azure Arc. Which three services can provide protection for AWS? A. Microsoft Defender for containers. B. Microsoft Defender for servers. C. Azure AD Conditional Access. D. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management (PIM). E. Azure Policy. Correct answer A, C, and D. Microsoft Defender for containers. Azure AD Conditional Access. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management (PIM). Explanation. Defender for containers protects cloud-native workloads. Conditional access and PIM extend security controls to federated identities. Question 26. You're preparing security for Azure landing zones and want to increase secure score. Which two preventative controls should you implement? A. Azure Web Application Firewall, WAF. B. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management (PIM). C. Microsoft Sentinel. D. Azure Firewall. E. Microsoft Defender for Cloud Alerts. Correct answer A and D. Azure Web Application Firewall, WAF. Azure Firewall. Explanation. WAF and Azure Firewall provide proactive, enforceable network protections. These controls directly impact secure score. Question 27. You want to enforce ISO 27001:2013 standards in your Azure subscription and auto-remediate non-compliant resources. What should you use? A. Azure Policy. B. Azure Blueprints. C. The Regulatory Compliance Dashboard in Defender for Cloud. D. Azure RBC. Correct answer A. Azure Policy. Explanation. Azure Policy allows enforcement of compliance standards. It also supports automatic remediation of misconfigurations. Question 28. You need to monitor 50 Azure subscriptions for ISO 27001:2013 compliance, and want to minimize the effort of changing monitored policy definitions. Which two methods achieve this goal? A. Assign an initiative to a management group. B. Assign a policy to each subscription. C. Assign a policy to a management group. D. Assign an initiative to each subscription. E. Assign a blueprint to each subscription. F. Assign a blueprint to a management group. Correct answer A and F. Assign an initiative to a management group. Assign a blueprint to a management group. Explanation. Using management groups allows centralized control. Initiatives and blueprints ensure consistent compliance across subscriptions. Question 29. You need to resolve a virtual machine security issue in Azure. What should you recommend? A. Enable the Qualys scanner in Defender for Cloud. B. Onboard the VMs to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. C. Create a device compliance policy in Endpoint Manager. D. Onboard the VMs to Azure Arc. Correct answer A. Enable the Qualys scanner in Defender for Cloud. Explanation. The Qualys scanner in Defender for Cloud helps identify VM vulnerabilities. It provides in-depth assessments for hardening. Question 30. You need to secure access to virtual machines per your organization's requirements. What should you include in the recommendation? A. Just-in-time JIT VM access. B. An Azure Bastion host. C. Azure Virtual Desktop. D. A network security group, NSG. Correct answer, C. Azure Virtual Desktop. Explanation: Azure Virtual Desktop provides secure, centralized access to VMs. It helps isolate sessions and reduces exposure risks. Check the description for the PDF download link and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for upcoming episodes. Thank you,